Welcome back to The Edge. Happy New Year. A white paper from Google sounds an awful lot like it's describing the helpful content algorithm. Lawsuits are being settled around the country over location tracking. Could Chat GPT replace Google search? Nah, you're listening to News from The Edge for the week of January 2nd, 2023, here on Edge of the Web Radio.
From the Edge of the Web studios, here's what we're looking at this week.
So we're looking at, we're reading, and we're listening, right? As soon as the volume comes up.
It was there for everybody else.
I know.
Just not for us.
Not for us.
I didn't think you needed it.
Thanks. We could have sung it. I mean, we know it so well, right? Dun, 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 dun. Welcome.
I sing it on the way out.
You do? Yes, you do.
Yeah, I do.
No,
You edited it out.
we don't need the deep voice guy. We can just do it ourselves, right?
No,
No.
that's a bad idea.
Yeah, I'm thinking so. I'm thinking so. This is Edge of the Web. If you haven't come across this before, Happy New Year. Thanks for joining us. I'm Erin Sparks, your host. I'm owner of Site Strategics, a digital marketing firm based in Indianapolis, Indiana. We cover SEO and digital marketing, all the things in the digital marketing space on a weekly basis. Two different shows we run. One is our interview series where we talk to some incredible influencers from around the planet in digital marketing, learning tactics and key skills. We also dive into the news each and every week of digital marketing and SEO to be able to unpack and learn and be able to bring that to you so you can make best use of this information in your digital marketing work week. So check us out over at edgeofthewebradio.com. That's edgeofthewebradio.com. This is the Site Strategics Digital Marketing News Desk of Edge of the Web. We're proud to have Site as the title sponsor of our show. We're focused on SEO, SEM, conversion optimization. Our digital marketing team is excellent at results-based agile marketing. So we're going to talk a little bit more about what we do later on the show here. But if you want to check us out, go over to sitestrategics.com. Joining me this week, brand new year, Mordy. We want to dive into a lot of news, but who the heck is Mordy? This is Mordy Oberstein, head of SEO branding at Wix. Sir, how you doing?
You don't know me?
I don't know you. Who the heck is this guy?
That's weird because I've been doing this for like 2 years with you. Do you introduce like Jacob every week? Like, hey, just want to let you know.
Well, everybody knows Jacob.
A guy named Jacob who works here.
Jacob Man's. That's right. We don't introduce Jacob nearly enough, but everybody knows him.
Don't.
Everybody likes him, Morty.
Yeah, Jacob. I don't even know your title.
I don't either.
He's the cat herder, right?
Yeah.
No, he is a studio creative director over here at Site Strategics, and he's running the board.
See, I just keep
He
getting
who
called,
makes his podcast not burn down.
I keep
every
getting
week.
called button pusher, but
Button pusher? Just one button. That's all you have to do.
That's
there's a
right.
few.
Boop.
I have a couple buttons.
Yeah, see, there we go.
Oh.
We're going to start New Year's this way. Fantastic. All right, so for our new listeners, we've been doing this for this is our 11th year, actually, starting 11th year for Edge of the Web. Darn, that's a heck of a lot of talking. So says my kids. Anyway, happy to have you on board. Morty, what's going on at Wix this week? Anything?
Yes. I can't say.
He always does that too.
I know, because like, you understand, like, so you work in like product dev, so you know, like it's about to get released, but it's not there yet. Or like, we're gonna release it, but we have like this bug to work out first. So when it will be soon. Ish.
Well, can you start telling us what you released last
coming.
week?
You're all gonna like it. It's good for the democratization of SEO data across the web.
That sounds like blockchain.
That is a wow word right there, a wow phrase. All right. So tell us what you released last week then. How about that?
It was the holidays, dude.
I can't get a break.
We released a couple of beers and bottles of champagne.
See, always one with the puns. I'm trying to promote Wix here, and you just really don't want to.
You're doing it. We're doing it. You're doing it right now.
Evidently. Oh, my gosh. Hey, check out Serp's Up podcast over there. Evidently, he does that on a regular basis, too.
Evidently, you do that on a regular basis. You were just complaining how much you have to edit it and how annoying it is to hear me.
This is actually a community-wide alert here. Do you realize how much I have to hear Mordy Oberstein each and every week? Folks,
I get great pleasure like screwing something up and like and you have to edit it.
You do that on a few purposes there as well.
I don't do it on purpose.
Yeah.
It's totally natural. I don't even try.
I've heard that if you learn a second language, you start to dream in that language. Does Morty now talk to you in your dreams? Do you hear him like narrating
Do you
your
hear
life?
like you fall asleep here, sir?
I'm just wondering if that happens.
No, but now that you've planted that in my head, that's going to actually start. This is
Queen,
terrible.
how do we make that happen?
No.
That's called Mortyception. And you're all welcome.
Now, I thought I felt bad for Crystal Carter on the show over there, but no, we're stuck in this. There's no way out. There's like Hotel California, but it's Morty foam. Never mind. I'm not giving it a try.
I mean, you could quit. No one's forcing you to produce a podcast.
Fine. You're right.
Now it's your choice. Now I can.
Yeah, exactly. Now I can. This is basically. I'm getting.
No guilt now.
This is just masochism at this point in time. Fantastic. All right.
You know,
Subsidized masochism.
for our first story this
Our
week.
first story from Search Engine Journal from Roger Monti is this Google's helpful content algorithm. Now, check this out. Check out our show notes as we go through these articles as well. There's a Google research paper out there that describes an algorithm that can identify low-quality web pages, similar to what the helpful content signal does. And some key moments in this article, they describes the research paper that actually was proffered out there. It describes an algorithm that can actually detect low-quality pages, spam content, and machine-generated content. It also features low resource usage and the ability to handle web-scale analysis, and the algorithm does not have to be trained to find specific kinds of low quality content. So, and it can actually learn by itself. So here's the deal is that whenever Google submits research information or patents for that matter, there's never a harkening back to the algorithm naming convention that we all know and love, like Penguin or Panda or product review number 5. I mean, they have their own public communication about algorithm changes and how they're a different set of settings, so to speak, inside of the algorithm. But Roger's actually bird-dogging a particular research paper that kind of walks like a duck and quacks like a duck. This is a description of the helpful content algorithm. He's focused on a number of the key elements in this research paper, and we've already heard this from Danny Sullivan in a number of ways. So why is this important? Is because if we pull at these strings, we can see more information about what Google's actually saying inside its organization and externally, but not through the direct public-facing communication. So we can actually see a little bit more about what we're trying to understand with helpful content. A number of key factors in there. More importantly, understanding that this is a classifier, a categorization organizing function that actually learns as it goes, and it can actually be in kind with other algorithm changes. But all things being equal, it was a pretty good summation of what we understand the HCU algorithm or the classifier to be. What do you think about this article, Morty? Was there any aha moments as it stood out there?
It's super fascinating, right? Basically, what they've done is, according to the patent, it basically turned the machine onto itself.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you go to one of these websites or one of these tools you can test and see whether it's like machine learning, whether the content is written by a machine or not.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically what they've done.
Right.
They basically turned the machine onto itself. That, okay, let's take one of these AI writers, to put it simply, and let's have it be able to classify whether or not the content that it got is from a human or from a machine.
Mm-hmm.
And even if it's written by a human, but it's too close to the machine, then it's low quality.
Along with that, there's kind of a backdrop of all this is that it's learning how to interpret machine learning even more. Everything that it's actually doing, it's learning upon itself and from all of the AI content that's out there. So it's learning these nuances that are some more rudimentary nuances, right? Some much more deeper, more natural language processing, or I should say in the guise of natural language processing. So it's constantly learning and evaluating. So do you think that this is getting back to Lambda at all? Is there's some sort of additional learning and patterning that can actually educate Lambdas, and that's the chat bot that Google is actually developing, has developed to 2 or 3 iterations now. Do you think that there's a learning concourse that's happening here?
I don't know how Lambda factors in or doesn't factor into this. I don't
Mhm.
think they're using Lambda to turn it onto itself
Mhm.
and analyze whether or not, maybe they are. Maybe they're turning it onto itself and saying, hey, this, you would spit out AI content, written content, because that's what you are.
Mhm.
What you just got in, was that AI written content? I don't know how they're doing it, but it's all part of the equation, I would assume, at some level. But it's interesting because it goes back to something we were talking about a while ago, is that it's not just about the typical SEO things anymore. It's about how you structure language.
Right.
And how you write, and how what word, not word choice you use, a bad way of putting it, but how you go about structuring the words on the page. I don't mean a keyword in a header. I
Mhm.
mean, is the sentence structure that you're using complex enough or natural enough? I would say complex enough that it doesn't come off that it's as if an AI writer wrote this. For example, we talked about this a while back with the
Mhm.
product review updates.
Right.
If I say vacuum bad, not good at sucking dirt, like
You've used
that's
that
like,
analogy 4 times.
yeah. I that's my go-to. I have go-tos. Everybody has go-tos, dude. There's nothing wrong with having a go-to. I will not be.
That will be a
way.
low LQ factor right there. If you're, I keep on seeing low LQ, which is language quality scores. That's what we're talking about here. And
Yes.
if it's
You mean IQ?
yeah, I keep on seeing IQ right there. Text is incomprehensible or
Fine,
logically
fine.
inconsistent.
Let's change it. Okay.
Okay.
This printer good. It prints words.
It sounds like Frankenstein.
That's what I'm going to. Fire bad.
Maybe Frankenstein was the first AI writer.
There it is.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
But if you have things like, this is a great printer. I found that the ink density was far superior for colored print jobs than blah 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 printer.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about a more complex language structure. Like, all of these things are going to factor in at a certain point.
So you have 2 different rows to go down here. You've got the grammatic quality of the text itself, which has certain score patterns. And then you have the knowledge variation as it's kind of vertical in that particular product. That's semantically relevant information and how nuanced or niche that the phraseology is there, right? So it's learning not only it looks like it was put through a Grammarly Spinderella and then thrown out there. That's an LQ factor, but you also have this other more knowledgeable AI classification that actually shows how well you actually know the depth of the subject matter itself, right?
Yeah, which I find interesting is, what do you do with a piece of content about, I don't know, what makes a good snow tire?
Right.
That's probably been done a million times over, and there's nothing new to add to that conversation unless the technology around snow tires develops. But until it does, what new thing am I going to add about snow tires? It's a snow tire.
Right. It's all been said. So
right, it's all been said and done, and now what do you do with that? And maybe that's something where, you know what, like, who cares if an AI writer wrote that?
So at some point in time, there are going to be already known areas that have no level of nuance or discovery, so to speak. Or it's going to be such a fractional element that Google's going to be able to see quite clearly how much actually has been naturally written by humans. Or, I mean, more importantly, let's back up for a second. Also, you were talking about just human writing. If humans writing content don't actually roll out well-structured, grammatically sound content, you can fall into that pit of being associated too.
That's what I'm saying. If you don't structure your language in a more, I'll say complex, for lack of a better word, way, then you run the risk of sounding like you've done this, right?
Yeah.
You sent me something, I put it into an AI writer, and the on these AI writing tests, and it thought you were an AI writer.
Yeah, but I gave it back to you too for something that you sent over to me. So hey,
that's also, I did the same thing, right?
No, exactly. Is that if you're lazy writing, you can literally trigger an AI association. That's crazy, right?
That's crazy, which means that part of SEO is going to be worrying about language, which means you have to actually be a good writer. What?
Don't tell them that.
That's crazy. or leave the writing to someone who actually knows how to write.
Could do that. We were fencing on Twitter the other day about you're warning the SEO realm of the coming gold rush, so to speak, of Chat GPT pages that are rolling out there. And, a legitimate warning, but I'm saying let them do it. Let them do it, because that's literally going to separate good quality content even further if there's a glut of Chat GPT Spinderellas out there,
You're like, burn the place down.
Burn it down. Okay, well, there's that. We have a little Chat GPT discussion here in a second here, but I wanted to swing over to a second article here real quick from The Hill. Check this out. Google is to pay $29.5 million to settle DC and Indiana lawsuits over location tracking. Woo! We got mentioned in The Hill. Google has agreed to pay a total of $29.5 million to settle separate lawsuits in Washington, D.C. and Indiana over its location tracking practices. This is from The Hill over by Jared Gans. Check this out. It's a pretty important thing to discover here. Google's already paid so much in the settlement realm. They're not acknowledging wrongdoing here, but they've actually been spending a lot. Where's the number here? In $392 million in settlements across 40 states to resolve the lawsuit brought by the coalition. The coalition of state attorney generals actually stalled, but in November, Google agreed to pay nearly that much. And Todd Rokita, the state attorney general of Indiana, used the location data, said that Google used the location data collected from Indiana consumers to build detailed user profiles and target ads, but has misled users about its practices since at least 2014. Settlement states that the agreement does not constitute an admission of wrongdoing on the part of Google. No, they'll just throw out $400 million like that. Now, before anything else, I mean, this is advertising. This is a lot of privacy discussions here, and we're not going to get into that basket of goodies. But highly recommend you go check out the article over The Hill. My contention is, where is this money going? Where is this money going from the state? If you're getting settled, where is this how is this getting back to the consumer? Any idea there, Morty?
I have no clue. All I know is that they keep stepping on these landmines, not using the data.
Absolutely.
Come on, how many times?
Google has agreed to take a variety of steps, including issuing a pop-up notification to users with location history enabled, telling them whether location information is being collected, and maintaining a web page that discloses Google's location tracking practices and policies. Google, is this how we get through everything? I'm still in the quandary of, if you have close to $400 million as a settlement across the United States, the consumers, how are they benefiting from that? Because was this just an aggravated AG assault with no beneficiary? Are the states benefiting? How are they benefiting from a settlement in this respect? I don't understand.
I guess they benefit because now like Google will think twice about doing it next time.
Yeah, but who gets the money? Why is that going into state coffers?
I don't know. Maybe we should go to parks. Maybe the money will go to parks.
Just go to parks.
Maybe the money would go to the politicians' lunch fund, which is probably more accurate.
Probably so. So this gets to another thread that we've had on the show for the longest time, is the political side of the antitrust discussions here, and who's in charge of that, and are they armed with facts? Are they representing the consumers in this, or are they actually trying to go after the monopoly because it's supposedly a monopoly in that space? Where does that money go? I'd like to have that as part of the linkage in this entire story, which I don't see, unfortunately. So that said, be aware that you're going to have some additional advertising pop-ups to consumers. And under the awning of, or I should say the cloud that's forming of loss of third-party cookies here, that's another factor of privacy that's dampening everything. I think this is kind of the exit strategy for a lot of different ways for Google, of just not being accountable to the user in that space by just settling with the states. It's a weird lawsuit. It really is. Maybe I don't have all the facts here. Could very well be the case.
You're just upset that they've used your data, they violated your data because you're in Indiana and you didn't get any money out of it.
Exactly. That's what I'm going for right here. I just want to cash in my chips here. Come on.
I got it. Got it.
I thought we won the lotto, but evidently not. All right. You know, you can win the lotto if you go to edgeofthewebradio.com/nlinks. Did you know that entities play a major role in how search engines understand and rank content on the web? Optimizing your content solely around keywords is a thing of the past. What you need to do is add entities into the mix, into your content, using an award-winning entity SEO platform that's Nlinks. We're proud to have a sponsor. They've been with us all through 2022 and into 2023. Fantastic group over there, constantly evolving their tool. And you got to check out the Keyword Explorer, the entire structure that they've got over there for understanding consumer intent when it gets down to content planning and discussion. All that is at your fingertips. Go over to edgeofthewebradio.com/nlinks to be able to claim your free Nlinks account and start creating content that will outperform your competitors. And there's my equivocation there. Then you got the lottery, right? Because you're outperforming everybody. So there. Check it out because they got some really cool tools. They can deploy schema, as well as what's really cool is being able to cross-link inside content based on target strategy and be able to move all those links like guns on a battleship to another target instantaneously. A fantastic tool over there by Dixon Jones. All right, third article, and it's not really an article, it's a conversation. It's a chat. How about that? With articles from Gary Marcus, Talia Goldberg, and Alita Solis, we wanted to kind of park a little bit and talk about Chat GPT because it's all over the bloody place. Can't swing a dead cat and not hit Chat GPT Twitter. There's a thing for you. How old did I sound like that? All right. So the deal is that Chat GPT really got announced third quarter of last year, and there's a huge flurry of how you can use Chat GPT, an AI writer, and an AI search tool for a particular manner in all manners of communication. And we just talked about the article earlier regarding helpful content and Google actually reviewing and classifying AI content. Well, article that we wanted to go in front of here real quick. This is a Substack article from Gary Marcus. Is ChatGPT really a code red for Google search? So last week, the New York Times actually published and said, well, they publish all the time. They published this article last week regarding ChatGPT is a code red for Google. A zillion, quote unquote, people on Twitter had echoed the same sentiment, like George Holtz, the one-time Elon Musk adversary who was hired by Twitter to fix search. Point being is that there's a lot of chat tools out there, AI chat tools. Perplexity.ai, Nedia.com, and You.com, they're already test piloting systems that merge traditional search with large language models a la ChatGPT. Okay, so there's a lot of fervor about utilization of ChatGPT in this space, but and this actually does deserve its own Scrum episode, just talking about ChatGPT, because there's going to be a lot more embrace of this, as well as maybe some polarity there in the ecosystem, like we were just talking about earlier. So ChatGPT is a incredibly useful tool for writing blocks, for being able to kind of break through certain key concepts, but it cannot replace human writing. And there's a huge discussion about, can it very well do that? Is it going to kill Google? Well, what they're talking about ChatGPT as being is a search engine, not just a tool to help write or rewrite or adjust nomenclature, what have you. Is this actually a search engine? And we've seen a lot of uses of ChatGPT in so many different spaces, including even schema creation. So is this a tool that is going to be much more of machine learning, kind of a tool belt of executions that you can use to be more efficient with what you're doing? And I'm going to pivot this around and talk about this second article as well here in a minute. But first and foremost, I wanted to move away from should ChatGPT write your content. I think we're all of the same opinion, no. But even Google's saying so in this website guidelines. But as a tool set and more of a machinery of how you efficiently execute your day in digital marketing or otherwise, what do you think about ChatGPT, Mordy? Is this where the conversation really does need to go?
Yeah, look, we spoke to Danny Richmond on the SERP podcast about how do you use AI writers the right way. Mm-hmm. And one of the ways he has this whole thing of how do you use it to, help you with the keyword research. Mm-hmm. So there's plenty of things you could be doing with your Chat GPT 3s, your AI writers, whatever it is, to help you better understand or classify or categorize content or write things like structured data, which you might still want to manually look at anyway. But it's a great tool. It's not meant to write your content for you. It could do amazing things though. So yeah, you should be using it. You shouldn't be using it to write your content. Although I think you can use it to write a header. I don't have a problem with that.
No, of course not. And doing some of the sundry tasks that don't really need that much nuance, right? But Gary actually goes in deeper into this article and talks about some of the training issues when he gets down to a machine learning process of AI writing, is that garbage in is garbage out. And you can literally get a response back. You can start seeing the edges of the room, so to speak, as you ask certain questions. And all it's doing is scurrying around and trying to block pieces of a response together. There's not that much saliency in the response. It's pretty much just kind of a rote spin of information. That's where you start seeing the edges of what this thing can do, no pun intended, right?
Yeah, and he was talking about the context of it being a replacement to Google, or as opposed to typing in a query, searching for something, maybe in a feature snippet or a direct answer or a bunch of results, whatever it is. The AI will conjure up an answer for you, which I get where people are coming from with this. And I understand the sentiment, like, wow, that would be a really cool thing. The problem is a couple of things. One is, as it is now, these are all built on models from 2021. It's slow, although I did see an article or a patent that would make them faster. But also, they're not necessarily accurate. There's no way to know. Like, you don't know what it's going to spin out. As opposed to, I can crawl the web, I can see what's there, and I can decide that would be bad for a feature snippet. This would be good for a feature snippet. You don't know what you're going to get out of it.
Right. You're in that
until
rabbit
it spits
hole.
it out.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, as a search engine, like, is that what you really want? It was not built for that. It was built for taking, you know what? Here's a paragraph, write me a header.
That's all it was made to do. All right, so going over to this other article from Talia Goldberg, it's called $1 Trillion Opportunity. Quickly, we're going to make use of this and then go over to Alita here real quick, because what Talia is actually talking about here is the moving away from this type of blue link search and going into much more of an immersive environment. And this is, I think, where we're going to be talking about Google moving its Lambda chat environment into. So we talked about Lambda before. It's Google's AI chat bot, and they've had some incredible success with that. And if you compare some of the results from Chat GPT to Lambda, Lambda is owning this space, and it's just, there's such a fervor of utilization of Chat GPT for language construction that Lambda's not in the ring yet in that space. But whenever we're talking about the tool of search, this immersive, subjective search opportunity, I mean, we're borderline mum in how we're going to be having our personal experiences really wired from Google, is that you're not going to be seeing the 10 blue link search much anymore here. So Talia goes through key concepts of what Chat GPT could actually, or the AI environment could actually bring us into. Subjective search, utilizing AI chatbots, obviously. She says that the next Google won't look like Google, and this is the $1 trillion opportunity that she talks about. Google will face innovators' dilemma as its business model hinges on displaying a page of links littered with keyword auctions and PPC ads. The next Google will look nothing like Google. While this is a big opportunity for companies like DuckDuckGo and Nevia to primarily compete on that single vector of privacy, right? What we're about to experience inside of search and interactive search is going to be wholly different. The conversational advice giver that Chat AI could actually be as you make your way through a journey. That's what you're talking about, Mordy, is that there's no destination. There's no additional contextual linkage to the internet with a Chat GPT. You're just getting a reflection back and just modified content. What Tilly is talking about is that next utilization of what search will become, and that's the big fight right there. Would you agree?
Yes, I'm going to say it's Talia because it's a Hebrew name, so it's Talia.
Thanks for pointing that out. Appreciate it.
I got you covered. Got you covered. That's what I'm here for. The Lambda thing is fascinating because now you can have the AI component, but you also have it built off Google's algorithm. So if you ask it, for example, tell me a great place to get pizza in New York City, it's not just pulling out crap it consumed from 2021. It
Right.
can actually say, okay, well, the local pack that we would normally show would say Joe's. So I will tell you Joe's is a place to go. And it can even say, here's a bunch of other recommended places that we have for you as well. So that to me is interesting. I agree with her. Not all the details. I agree that search is going to look very, very different. I think people want a much more layered portal-like experience. If I put in a topic, I want to see what's happening on social. I want to see podcasts about it. I want to see articles about it, or the history of it, all these various aspects of the topic all at once. And I want to decide which aspect I want to dive into, come back out of that, and go down the rabbit hole a different way, perhaps.
And train the environment to be able to do that as well.
Yeah, I think that you can have, something like Lambda's part of that. I don't know if you would replace all of that. I don't think it could. I don't think to say I don't think a linear version of anything is where people necessarily want to go.
Right.
I think people want to have the autonomy to decide on their own where they want to go and how they want to go down and consume that. I would love to create, I'm serious when I say this. I would love to think about creating a new search engine. I don't know how to do it, but I have in my mind what it would look like. I just don't know how to develop the technology to actually do that. So if you are someone who does know how to do that, I would love to talk to you. I have a bunch of ideas.
That's that $1 trillion idea. And Talia actually does bring forth a number of ideas and characteristics for a better environment for retrieval. That's what we're really talking about here. Ambient and in-workflow functionality, like a personal search bot that generates summaries and dialogue and answers, not just a list of links, right? As well as key concepts like a customizable user control that actually empowers how you want to be spoken to and how you want that content delivered. That's our next evolution of search. And if Google's there, then you better believe they're scrambling. And that could very well be the code red that we're talking about in the previous New York Post article there. Social and be able to connect with friends and be able to see what they're searching on and what they're interested in, be able to curate some cool different information and be able to share back and forth. There's a lot of utilization of this concierge mindset when it gets down to a AI functionality, not just chat. This is the doorway drug, folks. We're really talking about how do we program and get the responses that we're looking for. I keep on going back to that example of the the H.G. Wells, the time traveler, or time machine, whenever he goes in time to a broken library. It's been a discarded library, but it's an entire modal environment where you're walking up, you've got a personage right there interacting with you and asking you what you're looking for. And as they navigate the different factors back and forth, that is truly the concierge mindset, and even a response, and a good deal of humanistic responses as well. It's a fantastic clip. You got to go check that out because we're getting closer and closer to that functionality right there. So there.
Yes. Yeah.
So some useful tools for Chat GPT. Elisa actually came through with a huge article here that we wanted to reference before we get out of here. So Chat GPT for SEO, 20 ways to leverage Chat GPT in your SEO activities. We will not go through all 20, but it was really a great expose on how you can use it right now. Generating relevant topics to target, just putting in some of the phrases that we're looking at here. Generate a list of so many popular questions related to keyword that are relevant to a new type of audience. And it can actually come back with a good deal of effective questions that it's actually researching. But by and large, this is all 2021 data. Keep that in mind. Classifying your list of keywords based on their search intent. And the phraseology is actually the operant terms, how you're actually grooming the response is the most important thing. Classify, to quote Alita's demonstration here, classify the following keyword list in groups based on their search intent, whether commercial, transactional, or informational. That's pretty nuanced what you're putting in as guidance factors for Chat GPT. So you must pay attention to how you program the response, so to speak. Cluster a list of keywords based on their semantic relevancy. Translate a list of keywords. What a fantastic tool right there to be able to actually go through, and I've got everything that I have in this particular language I need to be able to rank track in another. Give me the translation of each and every one of those words. That's huge, Mordy.
Yeah, Tom, you can do translate all of these title tags to French.
Right. And then make sure
Awesome.
that you have another French person to actually review the translation because, things can go.
Unless you're translating it from French, in
Ooh.
which case, ooh,
Yep.
uh-huh.
Generate titles for your page content. Rephrase your existing content to avoid duplication. There's a bit of a thing there. Generating FAQs based on your content. Now, this is where I saw we're getting a little bit sticky here. Is that can you generate? And this is the phraseology. Generate a list of X frequently asked questions based on the following content. So she put in top tips to find cheap flights for digital nomads today, and then 3 paragraphs of content, and then it actually created a series of questions from that content. Now, is that the most commonly people also ask questions? Probably not, but what an interesting iterative coming out of this. So these are some plays back and forth on how to use content that you already have and rebuild it with other goals, other directions. What do you think about the rest of this list? Pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like the thing, it's meant to be smart. It's not meant to be a content creator. It's meant to be smart and intelligent and do things for you, right? So organize your content, extend your content, right? Restructure contents, all these kind of smart things, opposed to like, hey, write a poem about your birthday.
Right.
Like that's not. It's fun. That is fun. I get it, but it's meant to be. I think it's meant to be used in a much smarter kind of way.
Absolutely. And how smart it is has absolutely everything to do with what you're putting into the equation. So you've got to fence it in. You've got to create the areas in which it's to actually analyze that input. So the smartness starts with what you're actually putting into it before anything else. So check out the article. Huge proponent of Alita. She's fantastic. We've got to get her back on the show here soon. It's been a while. But what a great article to actually start off the new year, especially with the discourse that's happening in Chat GPT. That said, we want to make sure we reference our title sponsor at the tail of our show. We're proud to have Site Strategics as the title sponsor of Edge of the Web. We're an Indianapolis-based digital marketing firm celebrating our 19th year. We've been developing digital marketing strategies for a variety of industries around the U.S. and beyond. We've also developed a unique omni-channel media marketing and content curation process guided by our weekly R&D here at the show. So we incorporate some of the best strategies and techniques for content broadcast and execution of that inside of your marketing strategy month over month. So if you're interested in what we can do for you, give us a shout over at 877-SEO for web or 877-736-4932. I got some fast tracks here, but I don't have any time to do them anymore. I've gone so long, I've chatted about chat. So I've got one I really want to talk about, but we got 3 on deck here. Over at Search Engine Roundtable by Barry Schwartz, Google's helpful content update and link spam updates were delayed the rollout due to the holidays. Fantastic, but what's a better Christmas present than, hey, all my rankings are down.
They didn't know the holidays are coming. I get it.
But they're back now. It's back and running again.
It is.
They snuck right up on us this
Oh my
year.
gosh, it's almost like it happens every year. Another article over with Barry, Google search product listings with price history graph. That's pretty cool. That's actually pretty darn interesting here. But here's something that I really wanted to pivot around to is last article, Google's John Mueller said SEO skills needed for 2023 are curiosity and persistence. Did you read this one, Morty?
Yes.
What do we mean by curiosity and persistence?
I don't know. I'm persistent. Doesn't help me.
Oh my gosh, you're telling me.
Huh?
Morty's like an
Annoyingly
earworm,
so.
you know?
Annoyingly so.
Well, curiosity should always try to bring new things, test new technology like Chat GPT. Just don't abuse it. New strategies, new content ideas. Always trying to do something new with curiosity and persistence. Never give up, right?
John, he is cryptic.
He is. He really is. But that is a really good pivot point for going into 2023 is jettison the old garbage, jettison, wash and repeat type of methodology. We're looking for new creative ways. You may very well want to jettison some of your cannibalization of pages and out there and clean up your own backyard when it comes down to the content that you've been maybe writing 5 times the same way. Get rid of that stuff, experiment with new things, and have a fresh take on things because this is not the same game. This year, especially with everything that went on with 2022, this year is going to be a huge search year. I got the sense here. What do you think, Morty?
Yeah, that's like a New Year's resolution. It's right up there with like, I don't know, not eating as many ring things as I used to.
How many did you eat?
I love ring things.
Oh,
dude.
my Lord. I have no idea. I had no idea about this.
I don't know what ring dings are.
They're,
You
he's
know
got-
what a ring ding is?
he's got a bag right there. Check him.
What the hell, dude?
Uh-oh.
Drake's cakes?
Drake's cakes? These are
know-
these are foreign words to us.
Is it like a New York thing?
It's a
I
New
don't
York
know.
thing, I'm thinking.
That's a ring ding. Ring ding.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're yeah.
Devil dogs, ring
Oh.
dings, yodels, coffee cakes.
Okay,
Ding dong.
Ding dongs. That's what those are.
No, it's
Hostess.
not a ding dong. It's
Hostess
a ring
is
ding.
big
A
in the
ding dong
Midwest.
Oh, okay, go have your pop in your car. Have your
Mm,
little Debbies.
I should have had lunch.
You know,
before
I'm hungry for some SEO chat. We're back in it. What's going on with SEO chat this week?
We're having a chat this week. It's
Is
back.
it about Chat GPT?
I don't know. Brian Dordovich is hosting it, and he hasn't gotten back to me about what the topic is. So it
Maybe-
could be. We
Maybe
don't
you
know.
should tell him what the topic is.
Maybe I'll have
Ask
GPT
Chat.
tell him what the topic
Yeah,
is.
ask Chat GPT. What should this
What
week's
will the
topic
what
be?
will the topic of SEO chat be?
Oh, this is not going to get old anytime soon, huh?
Never.
All right, so that's happening every Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern. Hashtag SEO chat on Twitter, as it still stays around. It's amazing. It's actually gotten through the year, so the
You
life
sound
cycle.
so surprised.
I truly am, actually.
Wait, are you surprised about Twitter still being around or SEO chat?
Twitter,
I think is it. Oh, I thought you were insulting SEO chat.
No. I'm surprised that Twitter's not burnt down to the ground by now.
I'm starting a new one.
Well-
Hashtag SEO Chat GPT.
You gonna do that right now?
Okay.
1 o'clock every Thursday. All right. That's it. Thank you for listening for our New Year show. Thanks jumping on here, Morty. And I'm sorry we went so long, but hey, you got to get the monkeys on the table here to be able to put something together, right?
I don't know what that means.
I don't know either. But if you put it through Chat GPT, it will give you some semblance.
That's where you got it from. You had someone write. You had Chat GPT write the ending of the show.
Yes, exactly. All right, that's
How
it.
should they end the show? Chat GPT 3 about monkeys on tables.
Monkeys on tables. All right. That's it for The Edge this week. Check out our Dan Sure episodes. Had some great time with Dan Sure, a colleague over at Experts on the Wire. Also dropping this week is the first of 2 Cindy Crum episodes. We had a huge win there. Fantastic discussion that we had with Cindy, and we have to get her back on a regular basis. It was just amazing. From all of us over at Edge, go over to ratethispodcast.com/Edge today. Be the first one in 2023 to give us a review, because that helps us get lift in the algorithm and be able to bring our completely fabricated ending to listeners that have not come across this yet. How about that? So from all of us over at Edge, stay safe, stay well in 2023, and do not be a piece of cyber driftwood. We'll talk to you next week.